welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a special giveaway edition, so please be sure to stay to the very end so that you can see how you might be able to enter into this giveaway. So it is 2019. I cannot believe that 2018 is already a thing of the past. So to start off the new year right, I wanted to give you guys 7 tips that I have learned in 2018 of how to start the new year with your best intentions. Now, you know it's been an interesting year when you look back on all the books that you read in 2018 and you discover that out of 52 books read, 51 of them were self-helping. Yes, that's right, 51 self-help books is what I read in 2018. It was an interesting year, very educational. So to get started, the first thing that I am going to be practicing in 2019 is intermittent fasting. This has been one of the big game changers when it comes to my own health, and I will leave some links in the description box below that link to different doctors who really recommend intermittent fasting. Of course, always check with your healthcare provider before you start any kind of diet or physical regimen of any kind, but intermittent fasting is one of those things that you can do easily every single day. It's basically that you eat within a certain amount of hours during the day, making sure not to eat right before bed, and making sure to work out before you start eating in the morning. I like to eat between the hours of 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. I still eat the same amount of calories, but by doing this, this really helps my digestive system reset itself every day and gives it a time to rest. If you think back to 100 years ago, a couple hundred years ago, before refrigeration and pantries and grocery stores, this is something that most people practiced on a regular basis. It has been greatly beneficial to me in 2018, and I look forward to getting back into it in 2019. I say getting back into it because we just got over the holidays, guys, and you know, cookies. Resolution number 2 is to heal your gut. Now, there's a lot of information on how you might be able to do this, but I would definitely recommend Dr. Gundry's Plant Paradox book. I read this back in September of this year, and it was incredibly informative to me about some of the health foods that I had been eating for years that might actually be damaging to my gut. Dr. Gundry goes through a whole bunch of vegetables that have things in them called lectins that will actually fight and defend themselves against humans. So back in our scavenging days, when you ate something, you pretty much knew kind of instantly if you were feeling bloated, fatigued, if you had any kind of brain fog, and that was the plant's defense naturally so that you would not eat it. Nowadays, everything is so processed and we ignore so many of our own physical ailments until they really are kicking us in the face. Something to think about. Number 3 is something that I think everybody recommends, and that is to cut the sugar. Now, I would never say cut the sugar out completely because I love my chocolate. However, I have gotten into the habit of eating chocolate that is 80% or higher in cacao, which is actually a superfood and very low in sugar, so I can eat that every single day guilt-free. As far as other sweeteners in coffee and tea and that sort of stuff, I like to use stevia or xylitol substitutes. Any other type of chemicalized substitution for sugar is probably more damaging to your health than sugar itself. Sugar is addictive and it's really terrible on your gut, and it's one of those easy things that you can cut out with the right healthy kind of substitutes. That is not to say to go crazy on xylitol or stevia. By cutting out sugars, you are enabling your tongue to get back to its natural process of sensing all the different flavors that God has provided on this earth. Number 4 is my biggest goal for 2019 and something I read a whole lot about in 2018, and that is making self-care a priority. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I've heard this said over and over and over again, especially since becoming a mother, and I realized just how true it is. In order to make my home life and my personal life the very best that it can be, I have to put myself first. Oftentimes when it just goes against my own nature as a mother. Getting enough sleep, doing yoga, doing deep breathing, doing activities that I want to do because I want to do them. Walks in nature are another great one, and just enjoying the sound of the birds and the trees and the wind and the clouds. All of those senses and reminding us of our greater purpose here on earth. So easy self-care routines would be things like getting enough sleep, getting some exercise, deep breathing, buying some flowers for yourself just because you want something pretty in your home. This past year, I bought a teacup set, and I have been trying to have tea parties with my girls as much as I can, just because the tea sets are pretty, and we like to take 15 or 20 minutes a day to sit down and have a cup of tea and maybe something sweet. Thoughts control your actions. Your thoughts control your universe. So if you are able to practice taking control of those thoughts, they will literally be manifested manifesting around you. An easy way to do this is to practice Thanksgiving. Practice loving thoughts. If you are thankful, bitterness, hatefulness, and resentment cannot live where you are thankful. You can't be thankful for somebody or something and be bitter and mad at it at the same time. So simply being thankful for the things that you have, the people that you have, the life that you have will automatically make those loving thoughts flow a lot easier. Number 5 is to make a budget. Don't rely on last week's, last paycheck's, last month's budget for this month. Each paycheck brings new opportunity and new challenges along with it. You might be a weekly budgeter or a monthly budgeter, but I would say no more than every month because things change rapidly from one month to the next. If you don't recognize that, take a look back at 2018 where you started and where you ended, and probably guaranteeing that things changed a lot for you as they did for me in 2018. I am also a huge Dave Ramsey fan, and I will leave a link to him below. If you've never heard of him, he has fabulous tips on how to start budgeting. Tip number 6 is sparking joy in your home. I am also a huge fan of the KonMari method of the magic art of tidying up. The life-changing magic, the life-changing art, it's the KonMari method. I just saw where she is like coming to Netflix. I don't know if it's a movie or documentary or a series or whatever, but I read this book a long time ago and it is life-changing, guys. She goes through a step-by-step detail of how to declutter your house and your space for life. I love the way that KonMari folds clothes so that you can see everything in the drawer at once whenever you open up a drawer. That is the same method that I've been using for over a year now with all of the clothes in my household. Another thing that I love about her method is do not keep anything that does not bring you joy. I hold it, I feel it in my hands. Does it spark joy in my life? Does it bring me joy in my life? And a lot of times it doesn't. So it's easy to toss or it's easy to not buy. And the last resolution of number 7 is something that I am actually doing today on New Year's Day, and that is planning out the year. Think of December of 2019. What are you gonna look back for this year and see? What are the awesome memories that you're gonna take away from 2019? What relationships are you gonna grow and nourish? What burdens might you release from your shoulders? What successful mission did you accomplish in 2019? What goals were you able to achieve? By beginning with the end in mind, it helps to focus on where you want this year to go. What's the most important strategy that you want to start with this year? Create a life that you love. Create a space that you love. And now we are getting on to the giveaway. One of the best book series that I have ever read that has just captivated my heart, my home, and my soul has been the Life-Giving series from Sally Clarkson. These books have been so wonderful, talking to my heart and my soul about what I want to accomplish on any given day. What's the most important thing in my life? For me, of course, it's my family, my children, and my husband. Nourishing those relationships and creating a sanctuary for them to come home to every single day, a place that they can call home, a rest from the weary world. 7 years ago when I started motherhood, I had this image that mothering just isn't enough. I needed to do more and I needed to be more. And how I wish I would have heard of Sally Clarkson or would have read some of her books back then. I'm actually not sure if she wrote them back then. Gosh, I can't believe I've been a mother for almost 7 years. They're wonderful for moms in general, and they are just fantastic for women in general. I just finished up the Life-Giving Table, and I have to say that that was my favorite of all 3 books, and I did not expect for it to be my favorite. To read an entire book about how important it is to sit down and enjoy a family meal together just spoke so greatly to my heart. It was also about how you can do that with fast food. Sally Clarkson writes so beautifully about rest for the weary mom's soul. I have truly been blessed by her books. I have them on audio and I plan on listening to them again this coming up month when I'm getting my workout on. So all you have to do to enter into this giveaway is like, subscribe, and comment below about which book that you would like to receive the most. When this channel reaches 500 subscribers, I will randomly choose one of the people from below to be the lucky recipient of one of these amazing books. And that's about it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope that your new year is very much so blessed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment below to be entered into the drawing, and I hope you have a wonderful, happy 2019. Many blessings, guys. Bye! Even if you are watching it in 2020, gosh, that's only next year. Yes, that is a child crying in the background.